All right, here we go.
Yo, yo, yo. I am trying to stay cool. It's a hot, stuffy day. Actually,
Oh, you're
it's not.
cool,
It's
Justin.
Like, feels great
There's no way to get rid of that,
outside, but it's raining, so can't
especially with those glasses.
down and air conditioner
I don't know why we're serving the devil with our T-shirt though.
only gets so cold.
I tried to look at the Sandlot scene. You could throw that hat away. A little burning never hurt anyone. Or you could just wear it in the house. You could wear it inside out. Not inside out. Wear it inside the house. There you go.
This is where we're at today. It's where we're at right now. As my daggone Coke is sweating in here, you can tell, you know. But
Nothing wrong with free advertisement for Coke.
I shared
It is the best
point
soda.
my
It's really good.
and last
You could argue Dr. Pepper is better tasting though. Do you want some proof on that? Interviewing BYU students. I think it's Robert Carpenter.
What's the craziest thing that's happened?
Popular. Here we go. This girl's so beautiful, huh?
What's the quickest you've
Tell me that girl's look beautiful. She looks like an Egyptian goddess a little bit. Listen to this.
seen somebody get engaged on campus?
My neighbors did only date for a week before they got engaged.
My
How's it going?
neighbors.
It's good. They have 5 kids, 1 baby on the way.
What's the quickest you've seen somebody get engaged on campus?
3 days.
It's coming up, don't worry.
3 days?
They met on mutual.
Do you think it's going to go well?
I don't know. I don't know them anymore.
Good luck. Would you rather have $5 million or 5 minutes with Joseph Smith?
He already got his teachings in the Doctrine and Covenants.
Oh, you're going to pull it up. The covenants?
It's right.
I've never seen that before. Wow. As
If I had a few months to prepare, I would take the Joseph Smith deal.
a non-Mormon, what would I have to do
It's pretty wild. It's pretty, it's crazy, huh?
to date you?
As long as you're a good person with good morals, it doesn't really bother me.
If I open up a door for you, can I get the ring on by spring?
No.
What's your favorite party drink?
Dr. Pepper.
Why is it Dr. Pepper?
There it is.
Best one.
Would you rather have 5
Dr. Pepper's the best one, now you know. She's cute, huh? She's super cute.
night when we're talking about things, I was trying to help her
Super cute.
navigate a lot of BS. And
You know what I like about beautiful women? When you're in a big fight with them in marriage, the fight is just super hot. And she's just so beautiful. Plus, in my marital vows, I said, I'll always kiss you when asked. And she has to write the same thing. I'll always kiss you when asked. I'm actually thinking she could just say kiss, kiss, and then you kiss her in the middle of the fight. That's kind of messed up. But no, I don't want my wife to have any marital vows, actually. But I do like having a beautiful wife for that reason, because it's like, how mad could you possibly get?
theological BS.
Everything's going to
And,
be okay because she's beautiful.
She was kind of falling into it a bit, and then like just from talking to her a bit, I think the Spirit bore witness of the truth to her, which I'm just really glad. I'm just glad either way she realized, like, oh snap, yeah, you're right. I'm not glad that she realized I was right. I'm glad that, you know, about me being right or anything. No, I'm just saying I'm glad that she realized the truth. So she has a friend. My friend's a member in the church, and she's grown up in the church. She's known the church her whole life. I would venture to say she hasn't like really gone in much theological study at all, really, as far as like, you know, doctrine and things like that, very deeply, just kind of surface level, you know, which is fine. Some people do, some people don't. Some people are like me, some people are not. That's okay. You know, some people like to go into that. Other people don't as much. So I gotta get some gas here, but I definitely want to get this video going. So give me just a second, and we're back. Oh man, crazy times. It's a humid.
Yeah,
wiggly,
people
wet
think gas is really
world
expensive. It's not that bad.
over here. Humid. Oh, wow, there's my friend Allie. That's cool. Good to see her. Hold on. That was funny. Just saying hi to my
Everything.
friend.
A 2 liter of soda is $4.99 at Round Table right now.
Anyway, let's see. So we were talking about So my friend, she was getting all kinds of like videos from one of her friends, this dude, and I'm sure he's a great guy, most likely Protestant, evangelical Christian, and he's sending her all these videos about like, oh my gosh, the prophecies revealed, and it's these dudes, and they're like on a podcast, and they're like talking about the gold standards, and talking about the price of silver, and they're talking about this, and they're talking about that, and they're talking about all these different things, and it's all pretty much baseless. Like, you're going to be able to get some value out of it, but for just someone who's susceptible or vulnerable, it's dangerous.
Right.
Because you're getting all this stuff that's not true. You're getting all this confusing stuff. And it's just lame. And I want to be delicate about what I say about it. But
Why?
It was honestly a load of rubbish. And I mean, like, at the same time,
What did I tell you about Delicate?
it's
Just rip it.
because I'm not trying to be a hater.
You're 3 minutes into the video.
But here's the thing.
It's just me and
Like-
a couple other people watching. And we're choosing you over every other video on the internet. We don't want a censored Justin Hubbard. It doesn't make any sense. If you're behind the pulpit at the Church of Jesus Christ of Latter-day Saints, yes. Throw some salt in there. Be nice. There's kittens. And just imagine. I mean, there's old people. There's kids. There's middle-aged people. There's people who are judging you for your every word. There's blue angels, double blue angels, triple blue angels, quadruple blue angels. Who's watching your video right now? Who's the audience? Who's the target audience?
Being a
Me.
Protestant,
So just rip it. And also, the people that might cringe at your brutal honesty at church are not going to cringe behind a video camera. You're behind a video camera. Just rip it, Justin.
before, and
Go full Bednar here.
now I'm becoming a member in the church. And
Everything's going to be okay.
you know, I used to live in that world where I would listen to that stuff all the time. You know, I'd listen to this prophet and that prophet and this apostle and all this kind of stuff.
It's better than AC/DC.
And
It might be better than AC/DC, probably. You have to have discernment.
it's great because they're trying to figure things out. They're trying to talk about Jesus. They're trying to do
Hey, Justin, what do you think about Brandon Biggs?
do. They're all just trying to figure it out, you know? But at the end of the day, you can boil it all down to the fact that they are basically, and this is an interesting point, they are all Joseph Smith before the first vision. Before he prayed to know which church to join. It's them. They're not sure. They don't understand. Or they are. Or they think they have an idea. Or they're convinced. Or they're this or they're that. So they're either
I think you're giving him too much credit.
Joseph Smith before the first vision, before he asked which church is true, or they are.
You know, I was praying the other day, and I told God anyone could have done what Joseph Smith did if he had the golden plates and the seer stones. And God gave me a very hard no answer. Joseph Smith was a legend. He was a tank.
churches
He was tarred and feathered. No big deal. Let's keep it going.
who are the churches that God said to not join
Legend.
because they're not legit. Long story short, they're not legit. So they're all trying to figure things out, and they're also saying a lot of things are true. But it's like context, relevancy, all these kinds of things. It's way too much to try to sort out and try to make sense of. And so, I mean, and I'm not a dull guy, but just from listening to it myself, just from listening to the little bit that I listened to of what she sent me, because I was like, well, I have to at least see what it is before I respond. I'm not just going to judge a book by cover and be kind of like that. I mean, I totally could, but it'd be more accurate. It'd be more accurate if I actually watched it a little bit. So I watched it a little bit, and I'm just sitting there going, oh my gosh, this is just an onslaught, ridiculous assault of thoughts, concepts, ideas, and points, and they're saying this has happened in this way, and can you believe it? The Pope died on 4/21. It's been biblically prophesied. Things like that, and you're like going, 4/21? Like, what the heck is the significance of 4/21? And like, you'd have to listen for 2 hours before they explain that, and they might not even explain it. probably don't even explain it in that video. That's what I'm talking about. So they're going on and on about this and on about that and about this is such a prophecy revealed and all this kind of stuff. And it's like, wait a minute. And so the point I made to my friend, who's a member of the church, was like, dude, like, why don't you just listen to the prophets and apostles of the church? Like, they tell you everything you need to know. Why do you have to listen to these guys? They don't even know what they're talking about. No, they don't even have the whole truth, you know. And so it's like, or more, they don't even have as much truth as we do. So why would you listen to them? And so I talked to her about it for a little while, and we kind of came to the agreement that, like, yeah, that's probably not the best idea and stuff. And one of her points was, well, the church doesn't even talk about this. And it's like, well, that's the problem. See, when you start seeing these people start saying, oh my gosh, this is a problem, and this is a problem, and this is a problem, no, 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 no. It makes you feel, wow, that's really interesting. If it can get you this way. If you're not careful, you go, wow, you know what? Why don't we talk about that? Why don't we ever talk about that in general conference? Huh? And then you have all these doubting voices nearby who are saying, that's because they don't want you to know about it. That's because you're in the dark. You're following your cult. You're in a cult. They're lying to you. That's all those voices say things like that. And then you have that in the distance, and then it kind of sinks through a little bit. And it's like, that's why it's so important and it's so dangerous to, like, stay on the right track, but don't fall into this crap. Because that's what it is. It's absolutely crap. Totally crap. And one of the analogies I made with her was basically like, dude, like when you drink water, right? Most people drink water from a bottle most of the time. You get a bottle of water, you drink that water, you look at the water, you can see it crystal clear, you know it's been purified, and I ain't saying it's perfect because we all know water's got fluoride and all kinds of stuff, it's acidic or whatever, blah, blah, blah. But the point is, you get a bottle of water, and it's freaking clear and clean, and even has minerals for taste, you know, or a high pH, or great things like that, right? You drink it and you feel good. You're like, yes, I don't have to worry about anything when I drink this water because this water is fine, you know? Well, that's the water of General Conference. Actually, it's perfect water, it's living water. That's the water of General Conference. That's the water of the prophet and apostles, right? Now, the water from all these other sources is like, you go outside, you go to a public park, you go to a spigot, you turn it on, you fill up your cup of water, and then you hold it up to the sun and you look at it, and it's like yellow or gray or cloudy, there's particles floating around, and you're going, what the heck even is this? This isn't even water. It's like, would you feel safe drinking that? No. The only way to drink that is to just go YOLO and drink it. Because in your right mind, you look at that water and go, dude, what the heck, I ain't putting that in me. That's like water from a third world country, and that's my point. So would you rather have truth from a third world country, that no offense to people, that dirty, unfiltered crap, it's got stuff in it, it's got who knows what's in there, arsenic, it's got freaking, I don't know, chemicals and stuff, all this kind of stuff in there, right? Or would you rather have pure, clean water, right? Would you rather have living water, you know, from the prophet, from people who hold the Spirit, who have the Spirit, and you hold the priesthood, you know, would you rather have it from them? That's our difference. And then the other analogy I used was, think about this, okay? When you take a bunch of kids bowling, like, you know, say your son's having his birthday party and, you know, it's at the bowling alley this year, he wanted to go to the bowling alley, so he's got his friends, and they're bowling, and they're 6 or 7, 8 years old, right? I said they're 6 or 7, 5, 6 or 7. You put the bumpers up, don't you? Right? Why wouldn't you? You put the bumpers up, right? Because everybody knows, if you don't, all these kids are getting straight gutter balls every single time. And this analogy is for my friend Eric Loves Christ. I didn't even make that connection until now about bowling. But yeah, dude, I hope you like this analogy. I hope. I'm interested to see what you have to say about it. You put the bumpers up, right? Because if you don't put the bumpers up, they're not going to have fun. And you can disagree with me. They're not going to have fun because they're just going to be getting straight gutter ball after gutter ball after gutter ball after gutter ball. It's going to get old, and they're going to be like, wow, bowling is hard. I don't even like bowling. I suck at bowling. And then they're going to quit. They're not going to have interest. They're not going to have fun. Put the bumpers up, and they're going, hey, look, I got a strike. Or, hey, look, I got this, that. They're hitting pins. They're knocking pins down regardless. Okay? Now, take those two things. Kids with bumpers up, kids with bumpers down. Okay? That is the equivalent of listening to the prophets and apostles in the church, general authorities in the church, general conference, aka reliable sources. That's the difference between listening to reliable sources, or taking the bumpers off and listening to who knows what, everything under the sun. God is a lizard king named Althor, and did you actually know that reptilians have pink blood? And did you know that Alex Jones is actually Bill Hicks? And did you actually know that all this stuff, like, you know what I'm
I want to talk about this too. It seems obvious, but what Justin's talking about here is that there's a very high floor at General Conference. The worst talk that you'll ever hear there is so absurdly good. And there is a sense in which, and when I say a sense, it's like, yes, definitely. You can drop your shoulders at General Conference and really believe everything that they say without thinking very much. And it's nice. It's a very peaceful experience. You don't need to wear glasses and critique. It's more pure than the Apostle Paul. Because the Apostle Paul was very hard to understand. 2 Peter 3:16 talks about that. Our agency determines not just what we believe, but who we're taught by. And when you go to, let's just say, even a local ward at the Church of Jesus Christ of Latter-day Saints, it takes a lot to be able to even walk up behind the microphone. You really have to be a bit of a legend to get up there. On Testimony Sundays, you don't have to be a member. You could just go up there. But the other days, you're going to need to get called to give a talk and stuff. But let's just focus on the weakest possible point of time that the microphone has, which is testimonials. It really is a freestyle. It's an open mic. It's a box of chocolates. You know what you're going to get, but you don't know what you're going to get. I just want to say, even in that hostile environment with a lot of variance, you cannot say whatever you want. If you can get one, maybe two sentences in, as far as wicked, if you want to try to say something wicked, you can maybe get one or two sentences. And what ends up happening is you're going to get cut off by the bishop, and you're going to get wrecked. You're going to get stopped, and then they're going to push you out. You could also go about 5 minutes of neutrality. You could talk about cars. You could talk about space. You could talk about the rainforest or the deep ocean. And if you're not tying it into the gospel, you will be cut off as well. Interesting, huh? For the most part, you're going to get pure righteousness here at the local churches on testimonials. And it's just people talking, but the point is, it's not free speech, it's righteous speech. And what Justin is saying here is there are other podiums in the world with quote-unquote prophets and speakers, internet podiums, etc., and they don't have a bishop and a second counselor there to stop the people as they malfunction. And if you're let's say a small child, small children are brainwashed by their environment. Doesn't matter what their environment is, good, bad, or ugly, it's going to get really good or really bad or really ugly, depending on their environment. Proverbs 27:17, iron sharpeneth iron, so does one man sharpen another. Proverbs 13, verse 20, he who walks with the wise will become wise, but the companion of fools will be destroyed. 1 Corinthians 15:33, bad company corrupts good morals. Proverbs 22, verse 6, train up a child the way he should go, and when he is old, he will not depart from it. So what's going to end up happening is these other podiums, it is free speech. It's not righteous speech. And you don't have the bishop protecting you. And if you're a small child and you just watch a sermon from another church on the internet, you could get hurt, and you could get brainwashed in the worst way. It's like drinking poison or acid, or at the very least, dirty water, like Justin was saying. And we're all susceptible to these other podiums. I don't know how, well, I was going to say I watched 1,000 hours of Anti-Mormon and I survived it, but I didn't survive it myself. I was taken away from the church. Sean McCraney. I watched, I want to say within one phone call, within 2 episodes, 3 episodes, my testimony was really hurt already in the church. He was a big Ephesians 2:8-9, 1 point gospel, faith alone. And I got really, really hurt early on, and then I was convinced that the church wasn't true by the internet. And I was taken by them. It took a very long time for me to get my testimony back. I went on a 1,000-hour prayer journey. I stayed up for 7 days straight, didn't sleep at all. I was amped up by the Holy Spirit, and God did not want to tell me the answer. because he wanted me to pray. He was so addicted to me praying, and I was praying so intensely, sincerely. I was taking 2.5 hour showers, praying, like like a bath. You know what I mean? Like a bath. And I was just praying. I was getting these answers to these really little questions and concerns, these little Joseph Smith quotes and these little pieces of evidence, but direct wisdom. And my goodness, it took me so long to come back to recover from all that. Whereas if you have a high view of the prophets and the way the system works, and you really only want to settle for the pure water, that's a really good idea to do that. Nothing against truth seeking if you want to like search for truth and stuff. And also there's a lot of powerful anti-Mormon out there now. There's a lot of anti-Mormons, LDS Latter-day Saints who debunk the anti-Mormons. Saints Unscripted is fantastic. I wish I had that in 2011. It would have helped me so much. But yeah, I mean, the reason why the General Conference is so good, I mean, old is gold, Job 12:12, in the ancient is wisdom, but also they cross-check each other's papers, and I think you could change that word and stuff. I had a really funny video series on my channel. It's actually my top 10 most viral videos on my channel. I did watching General Conference till I spot a mistake. And I went 46 minutes, not a single half-truth. It was all perfect. It was amazing. It was longer than I was expecting. I was thinking maybe I might have drew the line at 13 minutes. It ended up being 46 minutes. And the quote-unquote half-truth was the person quoting, like Joseph Smith quoting himself. It was like, and he's saying how the Book of Mormon's better than the Bible, and I cannot stand for that. That's a half-truth if I've ever seen one in my life. If the LDS truth claims are true, I would still take the Bible over the Book of Mormon for a lot of different reasons. But technically, I mean, the Bible is a bit better than the Book of Mormon, and it's way worse at the same time. Worst case scenario with the Book of Mormon, it leads you into like a polygamy branch or Community Church of Christ. Who freaking cares? It's not that bad. There are no doctrines of demons in the Book of Mormon outside of the three that the Protestants created. Alma 7:10, Jesus was born in Jerusalem, Moroni 10:32, Pelagianism, and 2 Nephi 25:23, Pelagianism. The Impossible Gospel was Moroni 10:32. It's the fifth best verse in the Book of Mormon. You could argue the third best or the second best, but in the Bible, there's basically doctrines of demons on every page when you read Paul, and in even Jesus, you could twist Jesus. The world's biggest doctrine of demons, probably believe and be saved. And then Jesus says, "Don't judge." It's another doctrine of demons. He wasn't saying, you have to read around the passage. Jesus was against the three types of unrighteous judgment: harsh judgment, which tends to be pretty bad; unrighteous judgment in general, if you're wrong; and hypocritical judgment, you're right, but you're guilty of the same sin. That one, it makes sense. It makes the most sense, but the supernatural realm really cringes at it, so they just say don't do it because we don't want to cringe, you know. And Jesus was like not happy about that. So Matthew 7:1 was actually about hypocritical judgment. But if you look at like Proverbs 27 verse 5, John 7:24, 1 Corinthians 6 verse 3, there's plenty of verses on righteous judgment. So we should judge, and judgment is good. But the Book of Mormon, I guess, is a higher floor. There's no bad books in the Book of Mormon. Ironically, the Book of Mormon in the Book of Mormon is probably the weakest book. There's not a lot going on there. But the Old Testament, I'm not going to say it's an abomination, but it's pretty bad. The New Testament, there's definitely some weak spots in there. But very, very high highs as well. Matthew, Mark, Luke, and John are way better than the Book of Mormon, in my opinion. So that's why I stopped that video. It was 46 minutes of perfect preaching, and then they had that half truth in there.
All that.
It's not entirely false. But the Bible it has maps, archaeological manuscripts, archaeological evidence, scientific data, prophecies, and it's also believed by 2.4 billion people, 2.8 billion versus 25 million. So you could Bible bash. And then to say that you can't make a case for the Bible is pretty absurd, too. It's one thing to say the Book of Mormon is better. It's another thing to say it's like way better. Or it's clearly better. I don't know about all that.
It's the stuff that you get. So why?
The Bible says the exact same thing. Repent of your sins. Same gospel in there.
Make it difficult. Why make it hard? Okay.
The Book of Mormon is just clarity. And just read the title. It says Another Testament of Jesus Christ.
Tried hard enough already. He did the work. He figured out which church was true. None of them. And then the true church was restored. Are we really going to take all of the effort that it took for the church to be restored, all the suffering and persecution of the saints, all the suffering and death of them traveling to Utah? Are we going to really take everything it took for us to have the church on earth the way it is today and just be like, nah, man, I'm good. I need to listen to this Trinity broadcast. I need to listen to this Trinity podcast or Eagle Talon prophecy. You know, are we going to say, I'm good and we don't need any of that so we can just listen to whatever? Or are we going to be smart and say, no, actually, I need to listen to what's right. I don't want to waste my time. I don't want to spend my time consuming gobbledygook. I don't want to spend my time like consuming all this trash, right? I want what's right. I want what's true. And we have agency, so we can do whatever we want, you know? But there are
it depends how thirsty you are. And there's a lot of fog around the Church of Jesus Christ of Latter-day Saints. If you go to like David Alexander, he was searching for the true church his whole life. The devil, like I said, doesn't attack the Book of Mormon, the contents. He attacks the cover page. The millennials and the Gen Z, they say you lost me at Book of Mormon. Gen A says you lost me at book.
And I guarantee you, if you're watching all these other different kinds of prophecy things and all kinds of, I don't know, let's just call it fringe Christianity or false doctrine, honestly. Because people, they don't know. They're trying their best, but they don't know.
Cringe Christianity.
It's not their sword gospel. It's not.
Cringe just means out of tune.
It's not from authoritative sources at all, you know? So, do we want that, or do we want what's right? Do we want what's good? You know, we can make our lives a lot easier. And if we're spending all this time consuming all that other stuff, I guarantee you, we're not doing Come Follow Me the way we're supposed to, which we absolutely should. I need to get back on that. I need to do a better job. I'm not doing that great with it. I need to do a better job and catch up. We're not on a Come Follow Me as much as we should be. We're not fulfilling our callings as much as we should be, right? There's probably so many other things that we're not doing as well as we should be, because we're all the way over here in left field, trying to bowl at the age of 5 with no bumpers. The bumpers are there for a reason, okay? The bumpers help keep you in the right place. They help keep you on the straight and narrow. And you know, we all have that. We all have the ability to beep, turn the bumpers off, take them off, just let everything go the way it's going to go, or we can keep them on. They're there to help us, and that's the point. We're not meant to do this on our own. We're not smart enough to do this on our own. And honestly, if I had to spend the rest of my life,
something I thought with the bumpers was like, if you don't have the bumpers, that's like sola scriptura, because you can really throw a gutter ball with sola scriptura. You cannot throw a gutter ball with like Catholicism or LDS, because you have the church body keeping you from really, really, really dumb beliefs. Like this whole idea that we're going to believe something really dumb as a 17 million man group, that's not really a thing. But when you have these like branches of Protestantism, and it's a branch that branches into a branch into a branch, that's when you get like the new independent fundamental Baptists, which are a very small group, 2,000, 3,000 people. And they believe that the Bible never says repent of sins. There's not a single verse that says it. And then you have that guy be the preacher. It's so sad and cringe and stuff.
was before I found the church.
That's just horrible. Easy believism, it's called. Free grace theology. No repentance. No.
Ignorance is bliss. You never know what you're missing. You never know what you don't have. But I can tell you what. I was there for a while. And I prayed. And prayed. And prayed. Homie just ran a stoplight, buddy. Like, what? I just prayed and prayed that I would get more. That God would show me more. That I would be shown more of the truth. And I got it. And that was the Church of Jesus Christ of Latter-day Saints. And I'm so thankful for that. So in other words, knowing what I know now, if the church was like
Hey, Justin, what kind of car is this? I think we might have the same car. I could be wrong
to be
though.
removed, and the priesthood was to be removed, and the prophets were to be removed, and everything like that. If the church was to not exist, and I had to continue living in Christianity where it's like, well, anything goes, you kind of figure out what you want, you believe what you want, and, you know, potato, it doesn't really matter. Catholic, Orthodox, Evangelical, Methodist, non-denominational, Lutheran, it doesn't matter, and blah, blah, blah. It's all up to you. If you want to figure out what's going on, it's up to you to try to figure out what's going on. If I had to live my life like that, knowing what I know about the church now, I would rather die. I would rather die than to live like that. It's such a handicapped, disjointed, confused...
Yeah, bro, you're idolizing the LDS church. It's a great church, but no. When you'd rather die, are you being figurative here?
I say that with no ill intent towards the people who are in that, because the people who are in that...
Everything's going to be fine.
They don't know better.
There's a... Like, LDS, it removes all the mystery, pretty much. Well, there's some mystery, but not a lot.
Respect. You guys...
You don't like truth-seeking? You don't like all the broken Protestant branches?
You guys don't know enough.
Really?
Or you don't know better.
What about God, man? God is so much better than the church for me. I like the church. It brings me closer to God. There's a speck of the first and greatest commandment in there, which cannot be understated. It's great, and I like that. But I'd be fine without the church. I'd pray more, you know.
Have to know.
You convert all that evangelism into prayer and stuff, and you get to hang out with the Lord more. I mean, I'm not saying you should do this, but I've missed church just to pray before. Lord, it's you and me today. We're going to pray. You know? I love God so much more than the church. It's just the church is great compared to other churches. That's all.
Place to be.
But Justin's like, oh, this church is my life. I would rather die without this church. You know? I mean, our church is better than the other churches by a large margin. I don't know if I said this last video, but take away the Book of Mormon, the Pearl of Great Price, the Doctrine and Covenants, the Old Testament, and the majority of the New Testament, and we still are better than the Catholics. And the Catholics are amazing. But there's so much more to our church than the canon, you know?
You just don't know any better.
We have the modern-day prophets, and we have all the doctrine of Joseph Smith.
That's where my dad is in a lot of ways. That's where a lot of my family is.
Everything's going to be fine.
They don't know any better. They don't know enough.
I have met a lot of missionaries that said they wouldn't be LDS if it wasn't for the Book of Mormon.
And
But at this point, I would be.
too afraid to take a chance to open their mind to something else. They're brainwashed by the Trinity doctrine. They're brainwashed by Sola Scriptura. They're brainwashed by all of these name it and claim it preachers. They're brainwashed by their pastor, who is, he knows you don't question the pastor, because if you question the pastor, then what would happen? Oh, you're just going off the rails, buddy. You're really going off the rails if you question your pastor. You know? And so they just don't know any better. So my point is, when we have the church and we know the church is true, why freaking...
Okay, Justin, well, we're brainwashed by a bunch of great doctrines, too.
Spend time going down all these other roads, going, well, I'm going to listen to them anyway.
Why can't we get brainwashed?
Find this out anyway.
Brainwashing is a good thing. Righteous brainwashing.
It's like, what? Why? Why would you listen to that? And another analogy I gave to my friend was like, okay, say you're lost, right? And you need to get to the top of the mountain. And there's a blind guy. And you're like, hey, do you know where to get to the mountain? You know how to get to the mountain? He's like, yeah, sure, come this way. And you're like, okay. And he starts leading you. He's freaking blind. Why would you trust him to lead you? That's my point. He can't see. Why would you trust someone who can't see to show you the way? They can't see. That's the point. They can't see. They're trying their best. And that's great. Good job. They have their function. They're there for a reason. It's fine. It's okay. They're just doing the best they can. They don't know, but they're doing the best they can. And that's fine. But why will we ever act like that's the way we need to go? That's my point. Like, come on. We have the witness of the Spirit. We have, again, the Doctrine and Covenants, Pearl of Great Price, Book of Mormon, the prophets, teachings of the prophets. We have all of this direction. We have so much direction. And we're going to just throw it away because we want to try some other church, some other fringe concept, you know? It's not the right way to go.
I don't think anyone's throwing away our church.
But
I think the question is, like, do you join the church or not?
Has their own.
I mean, once you have it, you kind of cling on to it.
Their own path in life that they...
But that would be weird, though.
Take.
And just so you know, Justin, listen carefully now. For every one Latter-day Saint that becomes a Baptist, 24 Baptists become Latter-day Saints. How about that for a stat?
And so, that's fine. But there's a much easier way. That's my point. So why not take the easy way? Why make it harder? Well, because I want to learn, grow. I'm trying to grow. Okay, well that's great. Well, take the easy way, and and that's when you'll really grow. Okay. Anyway, thanks for
Great video.
watching.
Great video. Great video.